Today we will talk to each other about the vision of women, but especially the vision of the old woman. We will talk about her in general, whether we see her as a good woman or a slightly evil woman who has caused harm. We will also know if we see her as beautiful or if we see her as a little ugly. Firstly, seeing the old woman in general and seeing her looking good first indicates the arrival of a blessing, on the arrival of livelihoods in the future. Also, if an old woman sees a woman other than a childless woman, that is, she sees an old woman who looks beautiful, then it is good news for her that she is pregnant. The religious or righteous old woman is one of the symbols that heralds good opinion, especially from a religious standpoint. Also, when a woman sees an old woman giving birth, it is one of the visions that indicates an imminent pregnancy for her. Also, seeing an old pregnant woman is a symbol that sometimes indicates the occurrence of things that may not be convincing, or the occurrence of things that contain a miracle or a little surprise. Also, seeing an old woman laughing in a dream heralds that the dreamer will achieve something that he was seeking or that he hoped would come true. The smiling old woman is also because of the goodness of her opinion in general. As for seeing an old woman who is a little bit of a woman, she may be a little evil, she may have been harmed, or she may be an ugly woman. Unfortunately, it is one of the symbols that is not praiseworthy. First, seeing a somewhat evil or ugly old woman, unfortunately, indicates financial crises or psychological problems that the dreamer will go through in the coming period. Unfortunately, it is also sometimes a symbol that indicates that a person is suffering from a health crisis, or harm to him or harm to him. Also, the evil woman is when the dreamer sees an evil but tall old woman. Seeing a tall old woman is one of the symbols that heralds the dreamer's age. Also, seeing a short old woman is the opposite. Sometimes it indicates a short lifespan. It is also one of the symbols when we see an ugly old woman. If she is a single girl in a relationship or entering into a marriage plan, then unfortunately, it is one of the symbols that indicates that she is experiencing problems in these matters. Also, seeing the naked old woman also indicates that she is ugly. Unfortunately, it is one of the visions that indicates the arrival of poverty or the dreamer entering a somewhat difficult financial situation. The old woman is also naked. Unfortunately, one of the symbols when he sees her is also ugly. Among the symbols that indicate failure is the dreamer's failure, whether in his professional life or in his academic life, if he is still a student. It is also a symbol that unfortunately indicates worry, sadness, or facing problems or troubles. The old woman is also one of the symbols that indicate a position or prestige that the dreamer will obtain, but he will exploit it in a way that means it will not be good. The old woman also sometimes indicates that the dreamer is walking a little. There are many legal violations, so he must repent and return to God again. Seeing the invalid old woman and also seeing her naked is unfortunately one of the visions that indicate the spread of a scandal. The ugly old woman is one of the symbols that indicate that a person is susceptible to temptation. Also, when he sees that she is an ugly old woman and that she walked away from him, it is a vision that indicates the person will get rid of problems or distress in general. I also saw an old woman veiled, or do you wear the niqab? Sometimes it indicates remorse for a wrong or bad action. He was getting up without anyone knowing. When you see this woman or there is an opinion that he is hitting this woman or this woman, it is one of the visions that indicate the coming of goodness in the coming period. However, when he sees that he is hitting her severely or hitting her very hard, unfortunately, this indicates problems, but they will be solved. Also, when a married woman sees an old, ugly woman, unfortunately, this indicates instability in her marital life in general. It is also one of the visions that may indicate the existence of disagreements between her and her husband. One of the visions that indicates this situation in general. It is also one of the symbols that may indicate a financial crisis that you may be facing, or lack of livelihood. When we see that this woman has walked away from us, she is the one who gives good tidings of salvation from worries, sadness, or facing problems, with good news of the arrival of sustenance and the coming of goodness in the future. Also, for a single girl, when we see a beautiful old woman, it is also good news that a blessing and livelihood will come to her. When you see an ugly old woman, unfortunately, it is also a symbol that indicates a lack of livelihood. Goodbye.